All right, so I got some updates on the Godot engine fiasco and some news on the forks and some of the other things going on. Wanted to keep you guys up to date on this because apparently you really liked that last video, so I'm going to make another one, keep you guys in the loop. So, without further ado, we're going to take a look here and go into some details. First, right off the bat, is the big fork, the Redot engine fork of Godot. Still does not have a release. At least not a packaged release. Now, you could probably compile this yourself and make it work, but they are behind schedule on that. However, I still have faith. I think that it was a little optimistic to have this thing, release ready by Friday. I mean, that's a little extreme and fully understandable why they're not there yet. Not to mention the other problems that they've been running into that have probably taken developer time away from actually getting that release together, getting that build together, and having to deal with other stuff that's been going on. So that's probably a factor as well. But they have been, kind of keeping things churning along. They're merging some requests in from Godot, keeping the branch or the fork up to date from the Godot engine, and doing some other stuff behind the scenes. So there is progress happening here. It's just not as fast as we probably would have liked, or at least they would have liked. I kind of expected it not to be ready by now. So that is the situation with Redot. And also another thing with Redot is coming from X here. They have a post on their Discord situation. Hello, everyone. We just wanted to give a short update on the situation. Our Discord had to pause joins temporarily because we had a massive influx of bad actors and trolls who were posting things that could potentially harm our community. Devs are working and vetting volunteers. We knew that when this blew up, that a lot of people would naysay and hyperfixate on every little thing that happens. They want us to fail. We have not formally launched the project. That happens this Friday, which did not happen. We are working to get a build ready for that. One more note. We are currently vetting our moderation team so that we can reopen joins on the Discord. We have a solid core group of guys, but we need to probably double the current moderation. We are taking this very seriously. Ultimate authority in Discord is with the founders. So that is definitely a difference of approach between Godot and Redot. They are taking ownership of these things. Whereas Godot was like, oh, it's just an unofficial server. And, our official server is this one we created 2 months ago. So they're taking a different approach with that, at least, and trying to keep things managed from that perspective. And from what I understand, the issue was that a lot of people were popping into their Discord and posting things that are against Discord TOS and could potentially get their Discord shut down. So they had to ban those people and take a heavy-handed approach, unfortunately, because, people were going in there maliciously trying to get the Discord shut down effectively, and that's not good. So they didn't have a choice. Now, it is true that this is pretty hypocritical of them, considering this whole fiasco started from a banning tirade from Godot, having people banned on the Redot Discord server. That's a little hypocritical, but it is understandable because Discord does have terms of service that you have to adhere to. And if people were violating that, trying to get that server shut down, there's no choice but to ban those people. So that is the situation as it is. Hopefully they'll just ban the ones that are against Discord TOS. And, once people are actually in there posting actual criticism or complaining about bugs or what have you, like they were with Godot, hopefully those people won't get banned like they were on Godot, because people will be paying very close attention to those kind of things. And if they start doing that, then we're basically back at square one. I mean, Redot would be no better than Godot at that point. If they're going to ban people for the other side of the political spectrum being against their own politics, then it's no better. It's no better of an engine in that situation, and that would be a really bad situation to be in. Hopefully they don't do that. They keep saying they won't. I think that they are on the up and up, but we'll find out in due time for sure, because here we are. So that's the first issue, and the next thing I wanted to cover was some other stuff about Godot. This one especially. It is the Godot CEO finally shows his true colors. He kind of posts this on Mastodon, which tells you a lot about this guy that he's on Mastodon posting. But we'll leave that for some other day. We'll chill from Twitter/X until after the US elections. Almost all the hate Godot got over the weekend was pretty much people who had not a clue what a game engine is, what Godot is, or what a FOSS community-made project is. Most of the ones who did were the usual haters. Now, I wouldn't qualify myself as a usual hater because this is the second video I've ever made on Godot that is at least considered to be a hater. Previous videos I've made on Godot were positive, so definitely not me, and not a usual hater. And I do know what a FOSS community made project is. I've probably been involved with them longer than you have. And then, I know what Godot is because I've worked with it. I've tried to learn it and abandoned it eventually because it's not up to snuff in what I needed to do. Now I'm a 3D developer, not a 2D developer, and Godot's better for 2D than 3D, clearly. So there were some issues there, and that was the deal breaker for me. Not to mention that I could smell out your politics and your approach to these things. Now, if you had the politics you have, and you weren't exhibiting these kind of signs of being an absolutist and banning anyone who doesn't agree with you from back then, if that Godot community wasn't exhibiting those signs back then, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But here we are. So I guess I was right to skip on the engine. So that first part there is definitely not me. So I don't know where I fit in this little post. And I'm sure I'm not alone. I mean, I am probably the smallest voice in the community of people exactly like me that are complaining about this. So I'm sure there are bigger voices out there that you're not seeing for some reason because, they're maybe too small for you. But I mean, I got 12,000 views on that last video. So, and that was, not the biggest video out there. There are people got way more views than me, way bigger channels than me, way more prevalent than me, and you didn't see them. So I don't know what's wrong with you. Maybe you just have a blindfold on for that kind of stuff. And then going to the second part of this, checking profile of haters. Majority pro-Trump people with weird religious symbology are people with avatars obsession for anime little girls. Sometimes I feel I'm too innocent for this world. So there's the there's the tiniest violin in the world playing for you. And then I mean, first of all, my profile picture is my company logo, so I don't have anime girls on my profile. I don't even have religious symbology, and I don't really talk about my politics. So, what's the deal? I guess I don't qualify for that either, even though I am to the right of center, or probably for the perspective of this guy, far right, because even the slightly left of center people are far right Nazis these days to these kind of mentally deranged people. But yeah, I mean, I am religious and I am to the right of center. So apparently I am the worst person in the world, because reasons. And, I don't know a thing about Godot because I'm not a left-wing communist who thinks that FOSS is the only way to go and, would rather make a game than deal with open source communities that hate me. So yeah, I guess that's the situation. Anyway, it speaks volumes as to the situation that the Godot engine has found itself in, because this is the culture you fostered. This is the mentality of the people that are involved in this project. They would rather go on a banning tirade and wipe out people who are supporting this project, who are contributing to this project, who are funding this project in some cases, rather than have someone on that project or using that project that disagreed with their politics or disagreed with their opinions. Now, everybody agrees with everybody? I don't think so. I think everybody disagrees with everybody, at least in some things. No one agrees fully with anyone else in this world. We all have our own opinions. And, the thing that should come down to this is we all want to use, we all want to make great games, and we all want to use an engine that can make great games. But apparently getting politics involved is the thing that they want to do. Now, for me, I'm good with Unity. I'm good with Unreal. They are commercial companies, and the fact of the matter is, because they are commercial companies, they want my money. They want to see me successful so that I get to the point where they can charge me money. So they have a vested interest in getting these little developers, at least especially with Unity, getting these these developers up to a point where they're paying a license fee for that seat, where they're contributing to the Unity project financially, so that Unity can make the engine better to attract more developers and make them successful. So yeah, capitalism works in this case, and apparently, open source does not. At least your open source. Now, going back to Redot does seem to be working. Now, Redot is also open source. It's also a FOSS project, and even though they don't have a build yet, and I wish they kind of did, but that's understandable. They seem to be on top of it, and they seem to be open to the idea of politically, people who disagree with them politically using their engine. They don't care. Whereas this tells me that you do. Because this guy is one of the two founders of Godot. So, you created what you are in your project, and that much is very clear. So that is the situation with the Godot project. One more thing I wanted to kind of just dunk on here is this little post. Now, I mean, it's innocent enough, no big deal, but I just have to nitpick a little bit because there's something here that I have a problem with. He's saying people be like, no wonder Godot engine barely works. It's such a woke engine. Meanwhile, Godot engine, and he's showing all this footage of amazing looking games that are all written in Godot. Now, there are amazing looking games that are written in Godot. There are awesome games that are written in Godot. In fact, the game that I'm showing right now, this game right here, is written in Godot as far as I know. And, it's an awesome game. It's well worth playing. I recommend you check it out. I'll put a link in the description, and I might do a review on this as well down the road. But, these are all games that are written in Godot. These are very well-written games. They look good. They act good. They look great. They look like a lot of fun. But that's not because of Godot. That's because of the developer. In fact, I would argue that is in spite of Godot. Just like amazing-looking games that are written in Unreal or Unity are in spite of those engines, because every engine has their foibles, has their problems, has their hang-ups that you have to deal with and get around. They all have these problems that you just gotta work past, and a lot of that can be very frustrating for a game developer, and good on these guys for making such amazing games in an engine that does have problems, that arguably has a lot more problems than the other two big engines, because they've been languishing on politics instead of actually fixing these issues. So yeah, it does have a lot of issues, and I ran into a number of them while I was testing it out that kind of made it a deal breaker for me. Fortunately, I didn't invest much time in it, and even worse, to have an engine that has these problems that you might have a major hang up with, and then be banned from being able to contact the people that have something to do with the engine that could help you or fix it. Now, those kind of problems are like 1 in 100. 99% of the time, these problems are something you can find a video on or a forum post that fixes your issue. No big deal. But that 1% of those problems that you actually have to talk to the people dealing with the engine, you have to actually maybe contribute code to, or get something changed in, or get someone who has worked on that section of the code, get them to help you. If you're banned from even reaching those people, then that's a deal breaker for me. And what happens if you have 3,500 hours invested into a game, and all of a sudden you have a big problem that you have to deal with, and you're banned from the Godot community, and you can't reach them? Do you just, scrap that 3,500 hours worth of game dev and go to Unity or Unreal? I guess you do. I guess that's the situation. Or alternatively, I mean, at least in this situation, as long as Redot gets their build out and they keep going forward, you'd switch to Redot and kind of do a lateral move there. But yeah, this is not good. And they clearly don't want you to use Redot. They want you to use Godot because that's how they keep this project going. That's how they pay their own bills. But I don't think that's going to be the case for forever. Might be the case for a good long while, but I don't think it's going to be forever because the culture has not shifted in Godot. They have maintained the line. They are not changing their approach on this, and they are going to continue down this path. So this is not the last time that they're going to be banning people over their politics. This is just one of the times. I think this is going to continue forward because they have not changed their approach. They have not changed the way that they do things. They have not changed the way they approach these things. Nothing has changed within the culture of the organization, of the group, and that's a shame because you saw what happened with Unity. Unity had a similar situation with their licensing fees, and the community fought back against it, and they complained about it, and Unity said, oh no, we got to deal with this. And they did. They made major changes in their organization. They shifted gears to such an extreme degree. It was almost overcompensation, I would say. But they have steered the ship in the right direction. They have a guy in charge that seems to be on the up and up with this, and they're going forward with the way things were. We're going to continue down this road, and this is the way Unity is, and we're going to go back to the way that you guys liked it being. And they did. And they won me back over because they changed so dramatically. They got back on track. They changed their ways where Godot did not. And that speaks volumes for me, because if their engine, if Unity as an engine, as a company, as a corporation, is willing to make those extreme changes, then they're the way forward for me, because they're catering to the needs of the people that use their software. Godot is not, and Godot hasn't been for a long time, because with this whole fiasco, a whole lot of people have come out of the woodwork saying, hey, I've been complaining about these issues with Godot engine for a long time. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to change anything. They're not addressing the problems that we have. They're not getting us what we need. And here we are. So I think Godot is in trouble. I think legitimately it is, and it deserves to be. Because like I said, they're not changing course. They're not doing what needs to be done. So that's the update. That's where we're at with Godot and all this huge mess. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you like these kind of videos, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you guys later.